Alors, cette vidéo, elle est pour toi si tu connais déjà le subjonctif, tu connais les terminaisons, tu connais les conjugaisons, tu connais les verbes, mais c'est encore un peu difficile des fois de comprendre quand je dois utiliser le subjonctif et quand je ne dois pas utiliser le subjonctif. Ok? So I made this video for those of you who already know the whole theory of subjunctive, you know how to conjugate it and everything, but sometimes you still struggle, should I use indicative or subjunctive? So this is just a quick like mental tip that I explained to some student of mine in class last time. Maybe it can be useful for you, like maybe cannot. I hope can be useful for you, okay? First of all, there's one thing that you really need to understand if it's not clear for you yet. L'indicatif et le subjonctif, c'est pas des temps, ok? C'est pas des temps, c'est des modes. C'est comme des familles, c'est comme des groupes de temps. I like to think about indicatif and subjunctif like small dimensions or small worlds basically, and in each of these cities or each of these worlds basically, you have different kind of temps. Par exemple, dans l'indicatif, on a le présent, le passé composé, l'imparfait, le plus que parfait, etc. Et des fois, sometimes, des fois, on a besoin de passer d'un monde à l'autre. We have to switch from one city to another, or from one world, or from one planet, from one dimension to another. And we go from indicatif to subjunctif. Okay? So it's like two different dimensions, and sometimes we have to switch from one to the other. Mais du présent, il y a du présent dans l'indicatif et le subjonctif. Il y a du passé dans l'indicatif, avec le passé composé, l'imparfait, le passé simple, etc. Mais il y a aussi du passé dans le subjonctif. Après, imparfait plus que parfait, subjonctif, on n'utilise pas beaucoup. Ok? So this is really something that should be clear in your mind. Indicatif, subjonctif, ce ne sont pas des temps. Ce sont des modes. Ok? Ce sont des dimensions de temps. Ok. Now, let's look at something here. So I made a few slides. Imagine ici, tu as une femme. Là, tu as un homme. L'homme, il fait quoi? Il fait la vaisselle. La femme, elle est contente. Sa femme, elle dit, tu fais la vaisselle. Tu fais la vaisselle. It's a fact. It's real. It's happening in the real world. I'm not imagining that you are washing the dishes. It's like you are doing them right now. It's real. C'est réel. C'est concret. C'est l'indicatif. Tu fais la vaisselle. C'est réel. It's the real life happening right now. But if it's not happening right now, dans l'indicatif, on a aussi le passé. Par exemple, passé composé. Tu as fait la vaisselle. C'est du passé composé, mais c'est toujours réel. It's still something real of the real world. Even in the future, tu feras la vaisselle. You will wash the dishes. It's still real in a sense. Even though it's in the future, it's still real. Tu feras la vaisselle. It's like a fact. It's like something that will happen in the real world. Or, like I like to imagine, in the indicative world, in the indicative dimension. Now, imagine the man, il fait plus la vaisselle. Maintenant, il fait pas la vaisselle. He's not washing the dishes anymore. And the woman, she's imagining, je voudrais que tu fasses la vaisselle. I would like you to wash the dishes. Then, we're not in the real world anymore. I mean, the woman, she is in the real world. This is what you say. Je voudrais. Je voudrais, c'est l'indicatif. Je voudrais, it's real. It's right now. Right now, I'm here. Je voudrais. Mais je voudrais quoi? Je voudrais que tu fasses la vaisselle. This is something in my mind. This is something in my imagination. Que tu fasses la vaisselle. The man washing the dishes. Here, he is washing the dishes in the real world, in the indicative world. But here, the man is washing the dishes not in the real world anymore, but in the imagination world, in my mind. Or, as you should imagine, in the subjunctive world, okay? No, que tu fasses la vaisselle. No, the man, in a way, it's like he is still washing the dishes, but not in the real world anymore, not in the indicative dimension anymore. Now the man, he's washing the dishes in the subjunctive dimension. So it's like you cannot see it clearly around you, but you can imagine him in your mind. This is why you use subjunctive. Okay? It's a very, very abstract explanation. I think for some people it doesn't work at all. For some people it works very well. I know for me it works very well, so I hope for some of you can be useful also. Deuxième exemple. Regarde, là il y a un homme, il est triste. C'est vrai, c'est un fait, c'est réel, c'est concret. Il est triste, ici, maintenant, il est triste. C'est l'indicatif. L'homme, the man who is sad, I can touch him, I can see him, I can talk to him. He is in the real world, he is in the indicative world. Il est triste. Pourquoi? Pourquoi il est triste? Il est triste parce que sa femme est partie. Sa femme, elle est partie. Elle est aussi réelle. His wife, she's in the real world as well. She left, she's leaving. Elle est partie. You notice that here we will use subjonctif passé, which is very, very easy once you know subjonctif présent. Anyway, sa femme, elle est partie, but sa femme, it's like she's still a real person at this point. If I were to find her somewhere, I could touch her, talk to her, interact with her. She is still in the indicative world. Pourquoi il est triste? Parce que sa femme est partie. No, so yeah, both of them are in the indicative world, okay? No, imagine, il est triste que sa femme soit partie. No, sa femme, she's not in the indicative world anymore. She's literally in her mind. Il est triste que sa femme soit partie. She's living in his brain. He's like visualizing her living. He's like thinking about her living. Okay, so she actually left, like for real in real life. Because when you say que sa femme soit partie, subjonctif passé, it implies that she left already. But it's not about the fact, it's about the way the sentence is built. When you build this sentence, il est triste que sa femme soit partie. Sa femme, she's not in the real world anymore. She's literally in the subjunctive world. So you have a man standing in the indicative dimension. Okay? Il est triste que sa femme soit partie. Sa femme, she's not in the indicative world with him. She left, now she's in his mind. So he's like thinking about her, visualizing her. And so she's in subjunctive world. Once again, I know that his wife, actually, she left already and she's somewhere in the real world. But we're not talking about the real, we're not talking about the physics of it. We're talking about the sentence, how the sentence is built. In the sentence, his wife, I'm sorry, but she's not in the real world anymore. She's in his mind. In the way the sentence is built. Okay? This is why here, the meaning is exactly the same, literally exactly the same, but both of them are in the indicative dimension. Why? Because the sentences are built different. Okay? We're still talking about grammar in the end. All right? Okay, I hope it can really be useful for some of you. That's all I had to say. It was just a quick tip for you. By the way, this doesn't mean that there is no special cases and that everything is easy about subjunctive. I know there are a lot of exceptions and some tricky words. Par exemple, je pense que you use indicative and it's a bit strange and why is it like this? Okay, but still this abstract concept of really thinking about indicative and subjunctive like different words, I think can be a useful way to think about stuff for those of you who like to, who are comfortable with the abstraction of grammar basically. And if you noticed, ici on utilise du subjonctif passé, ici du subjonctif présent. The same, hein? Same, no difference. Ok? C'est tout. Vas-y, ciao mon pote.